Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino. Sunday, November 10th, 2024. We got a lot to talk about, people. This is my newest segment of Markets, a Look Ahead. Let's just understand as clear as we possibly can the dynamics that are in play right now. People, a lot has changed and even more is going to change moving forward. Let's back up for a second here and understand the mechanism. With regard to the economy and the markets, you can't have your cake and eat it too. The system has been vastly, disproportionately swayed to propel the stock market higher on the back of destroying the economy. Not just here in the United States, you know that. Break out your little boxes, all right? This is a worldwide phenomenon. We know who runs the show. If you're not up to speed on that and you still believe that the world is run by kings, queens, dictators, monarchs, or even presidents, well, then you're just way off base, and I'm sorry to have to wake you up. Not the case here. Understanding the mechanism and realizing that there is a whole new set of dynamics in play. As I just said, I've been warning about this for years. A whole new paradigm, a whole new set of rules. We're going to see some of those rules fall into place moving forward faster than you really can imagine. But that means, people, for you and I, massive opportunity, I'm telling you. What else do we know here? Wall Street is a vampire. It's a vampire. The banks, predatory institutions. We all know this. Are we on the same page here? So what does that mean? As lions, do we just lay down and just allow the freaking perverted, twisted, vomitous puke system to destroy us all? Or do we say, hold on a minute now, we already know, and it's pretty clear, and we're going to outline this at length right now, what the dynamics are. We've been so far ahead of this, you and me, people, for years. And I promised all of you, we're going to stay that way. There's just no doubt about it. So what does this mean? Look, we realize how sick the system is. We realize Wall Street is a freaking vampire. The banks are predatory. We got all that. But why can't we play the same game better than those who are trying to destroy us obviously are playing? We can play the game way better because we're smarter. We're paying attention to what's going on. You understand? I hope you really do. Now, with that, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, but mostly I want to focus on this. Right now, if you subscribe to my free newsletter, it's free, people. Whether you subscribe or not, I don't give a damn. I want to help all of you. If you want to be helped, okay, subscribe. There is a link in the description of this video. This is in your inbox right now. Pretty much everything that you need to know. There's 4 pages of this, including 6 at the very end. 6 things we really need to pay attention to moving forward to allow this vampire system to work for us and not against us. All right? Like, as I said, you have a choice here. You could sit back and suck your thumb off somewhere, or you can listen to what's being, spread everywhere and capitalize on it. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? You let me know what you want to do. Now, maybe before I even get started, I do read through the comments here, and there seems to be an underlying little bit of a theme here. Why is Greg pushing banks? You don't think that Greg knows that the banks are the enemy? But do you understand the dynamics that are in play that were put in place from a while back? And it's going to get even more dramatic? Well, hold that thought, because we're going to talk about, I'm not pushing anything. What I'm trying to do with regard to cryptocurrencies and the system and Wall Street and the banks is explain to you how you, okay? Even those of you that don't like me, I don't care if you like me or not, quite frankly, but I'm trying to help you out. If what I say doesn't make sense to you, that's fine. But I believe that 95% of you get it. And those are the ones I'm focusing on right here. So anyway, let's talk about this. I want to show you what I'm talking about, literally show you as we go through this, and of course add a few things here and there. All right, you ready? So this is, again, in your inbox. So MAGAizing the markets. Gold and especially silver remain the best long-term trades on earth. Let's put this together, you and me, people, because it's too easy. It's too easy. How long have I been telling you this? And, we've kind of gotten it right. I would say, we nailed it to the wall. So now that the presidential selection has been made, I want you to pay attention to what I'm saying right off the bat here. All right? It may not hit you the right way. You may, just put politics aside. It's over. Trump's the guy. We all get that now. Let's focus on what we need to do to make the system work for us. You got it? Bear with me. Now that the presidential selection has been made, Wall Street, especially mega banks, corporate insiders, investors, traders, and the global cryptocurrency markets are simply way beyond ecstatic. Do you need any proof? Did you see what happened after the selection with regard to the stock market, banks, and of course the crypto space? Let us move forward here. Now I wrote, perhaps mega banks should now be called MAGA banks. And people, there's no doubt, especially as we cover this, that you need to understand the play here. We got the playbook. It's wide open before all of us here. And I understand that the banks are the enemy, but the banks are going to benefit here, along with the crypto space and the overall stock market, like you can't believe. The market got what it wanted. Let's move forward here. So what happened last week? Well, what happened last week, are you ready for this? Was the absolute best possible outcome. The absolute best possible outcome for the 1 or 2 percenters, the elite, the money changers, the MAGA banks, and of course, you're not going to like to hear this, the Federal Reserve. Is it really just any accident, people? Really, or by a chance that all this turned out this way? Of course it's by chance, right? There's no way that this was a selection. It was an election, right? All right, let's go. Stock market history was made. Again, I'm laying down the groundwork to allow you to understand how to rip the freaking face off of this moving forward. People, this is so easy for us right now. I'm telling you, I'm giddy. I'm giddy. Personally, you've seen me over the past X amount of days. I'm giddy off of what we're seeing right now. Any investor, any Wall Street guy, even those of you that stack metals, I'm a big stacker. You know that. Period the freaking end. But we got to be spread out, and you all know that. Anyway, stock market history was made. Are you ready for this? Never before in the entire history of the financial marketplace has the U.S. stock market reacted more positive to a quote-unquote election. It was an election, right? Every major stock market index, from the Dow Jones Industrial Average to the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, with each vaulting higher. Records were set across the board. Anyway, moreover, the mega/MAGA rally in stocks continued through the rest of the week, propelling the broader market to its 50th record high of the year. Imagine our shock. Did you and I not nail that one to the wall? In the following 3 days, this is awesome, man. In the following 3 days after the Trump selection, the U.S. stock market realized record high cash inflows. Now, let me just show you what I'm talking about. This is the headline here. Investors bet big on Trump, record-breaking $20 billion inflow to U.S. equities. So, again, following 3 days after selection, record high cash inflows into the market, which is an indication. Now, listen to this part here. Okay, maybe you don't know, maybe you do know. I know my lines now. Which is an indication that the stock market has the potential to run even higher, people. And I wrote potentially much higher. Cryptocurrency took off with Bitcoin hitting new record highs. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. Over the weekend here, people. Are you ready for this? This is what's going on. Bitcoin on the threshold of 80,000. Did we nail that one too? Yeah, we did. Look at the old videos I said. I said we were going to hit 80,000 in short order. We're probably going with Bitcoin and the rest of that crypto space. Will you look at it? Bitcoin's probably going to 100,000 plus before the end of the year. Now, there's a big reason for this. Let's talk further. Following the selection, I have this for you too. This is actually the day after. Following the selection, Trump doubled down on his promise to make the United States the crypto capital of the world. Now, Trump went on to say, now, this, people, look, man, just listen, all right? Trump is planning to make cryptocurrencies. That's what he said. He didn't say cryptocurrency, Bitcoin only, or his own token coin. He said cryptocurrencies are part of the U.S. strategic stockpile. Now, I went on to ask a question. Now, I want to hear from you on this, all right? So, question, why not, have you heard a word about this? Because I haven't. So, let's just talk. Question, why not add more gold to the U.S. strategic stockpile? Yes, for those of you that may not have heard of this, the U.S. does has a strategic stockpile. It's supposed to be held up in Fort Knox. Are we on the same page? Now listen to this. This is where this is almost, it is laughable. Are you ready? The current value of the U.S. gold stockpile, I actually wrote, is a $628 billion, which is about the same value as Walmart. Yes, Walmart. The company is worth about the same with regard to a market cap. You can't make this stuff up here. So let me ask you again. Why are we not vastly adding to the U.S. gold strategic stockpile? No. We're adding cryptocurrency now. Trump loves crypto now. Big change, big flip here. But anyway, answer this question for Greg Mannarino. Why are we not adding more gold to the U.S. strategic stockpile? I mean, think about what I'm saying. Listen to these freaking numbers. $628 billion in today's dollars, okay, which is about the same market cap or value as Walmart. Then I wrote, how is this even possible? Go ahead and make it up. Now, of course, the answer is pretty obvious. Let's go on to the answer here. And this is what I wrote, and I want to hear from you. By adding more gold to the U.S. strategic stockpile, this would run counter to the Federal Reserve plan to continue to bankrupt America. Now, there's a lot of talk about the president having input as to what the Fed does with regard to monetary policy. We've heard this. In fact, I think Elon Musk just tweeted about this today or yesterday or this morning, whatever it might be, saying he backs a plan to have the president have some say-so into what the Federal Reserve does. If that's the case, you should expect negative rates, which is exactly what we don't need. But President Trump, or soon to be, said specifically he believes the Federal Reserve should remain independent, that the president should have say-so into what the Fed does, but not order the Fed. All right. Anyway, it goes back to what I just said. We're going to add cryptocurrencies. Believe me, this is going to happen. Trump doubled down on this the day after the selection. Okay. Why not add gold? The answer is pretty obvious. By adding gold to the U.S. strategic stockpile, this would run counter to the Fed's plan to continue to bankrupt America. So to fulfill the goal to be the lender and buyer of last resort. Does that sound familiar to you? I've only been telling you that for 10 years. Prior to the selection, and I said specifically and repeatedly that the Fed would get an ally to sit behind the Resolute desk. A person who would assist the Fed in fulfilling their central plan to own it all. All right, now, why? Leading up to what we need to be focusing on here. Why was Trump, why did the stock market want Trump? There's a question. No, Trump is a proponent of zero and even negative rates. During his last tenure, Trump called the Fed boneheads. I love that word. I love that word. Trump called the Fed boneheads. It's a funny word, man. It was very kind of him to just call them boneheads. Anyway, as I've been telling you, for not implementing zero or even negative rates. Currently, the Federal Reserve, along with other central banks who are working in concert, they all work together. All right. And they have their bases on every continent around this world. That's their their strategy here to take us over. Of course they are. They are now in the process of cutting rates, a process which is responsible for destroying the purchasing power of their currencies. What just happened last week? Bank of England and the Fed obviously got in here and cut rates even further here, which is obviously the polar opposite of what we actually need. It's unbelievable here. A zero/negative rate environment, although massively destructive to the economy, you see how it worked out for Europe, would vault the stock markets even higher. Even higher. Again, the vampire of Wall Street. Man, I'm telling you. They got the guy. They got the guy. So Trump wants deregulation and less restraint on banks. Let's touch on that for a second. If you remember this was during Trump's last tenure. History was made. Trump signed the biggest rollback of bank rules since the financial crisis. President Donald Trump signed the biggest rollback of financial regulations since the global financial crisis. So this was, oh my goodness, I can't, when is this? This is May 24th of 2018. So this is when it really got started. But it gets even better than that. Let's move forward here. So, where was I here? Okay, so in April of this year, and that was, actually, it started in April, but this is actually from November of 23. It said, Republicans unite in opposition to bank regulations. You all know that. All of you people who consider yourselves Republicans are absolutely against bank regulations. I don't understand that. I personally think, even though I'm a Wall Street guy, you all know that, I don't think Wall Street should be a free-for-all. But obviously some people do, and that's okay. And some people stand behind the banks. Here's one of them. Anyway, let us move forward here. The Republicans united to strike down any new regulations on banks. Also, regarding regulation, Trump promised the crypto markets, and you all know this, my crypto lions out here, and this is beautiful for you and me, that he would also deregulate and prevent regulation with regard to cryptocurrency. And this past week, what happened? We saw mega banks, MAGA banks skyrocket across the board in a rally that was historic, not just for the stock market, but banks as well, and cryptocurrencies. Now, interesting factoid. Do you know this? But I just want to say it. Not even 48 hours after the selection, the SEC is already rolling back regulations with regard to banks and crypto. Coincidence? I don't know. You guys let me know about that. Of course, this was an election, right? It wasn't a selection. So what's next? This is what I really want you to focus on here. There's six things here that I really want to lay out for you. So what's next? Trump's selection has put several new dynamics into play. Let's talk about that. Number one, expect the current stock market multiples expansion cycle to accelerate and continue. This mechanism / Trump juice euphoria will be responsible, of course, for inflating a much bigger and fatter stock market hyperbubble. Although it won't be a big fat bubble or a big fat ugly bubble when Trump sits behind the Resolute desk. It's going to be a beautiful thing. The multiples that the market is trading on right now, we've never seen before. It's the largest stock market bubble the world has ever seen. Does Greg Mannarino know that? Does Greg Mannarino understand that none of this environment is real? Nothing is what it appears to be, like presidential elections and selections? It absolutely was a selection here. Who won? Well, I started off with telling you who really won here. And if you can't see this, or if this hurts your feelings, maybe you should get out of this video here. Again, come on, man. It was obviously the 1 and 2 percenters, the elite, the money changers, the mega banks, the MAGA banks, and of course, cryptocurrency space and the Federal Reserve. They always win. You know that. Wealth always gets pushed upward. It doesn't come down. You think it's all a miracle is going to happen? And all of a sudden, the 1 and 2 percenters and the Wall Street fat cats are not going to benefit from the Trump selection, and you're going to? Come on, people, man. Don't make me laugh. There's no way you believe that. Anyway, let's move forward. So, expect multiples expansion to continue. You and I have been speaking about this since before the selection. Anyway, that's number one. Number two, bank deregulation. People, do you need any more proof here? Do you really, really need any more proof that we're going to see banks deregulate? and that means a free fall for Wall Street here. Who signed the biggest law into existence to deregulate the banks? Well, that was Trump. I just showed it to you. But for those of you that maybe need a wake up, but you knew that, right? You knew that's what you were voting for, didn't you? I love this, man. All right, so at bank deregulation. So after we the people were forced to bail out the banks during the financial crisis, regulations were put in place to protect us to a certain degree to prevent that from happening again. These regulations were rolled back and will be rolled back even more so. So expect investment banks to again engage in wild speculative trades, especially derivative trades, of course, duh. Potentially rolling back regulations can be very profitable for the banks. We all know that. And the fat cats are foaming at the mouth and having orgasms all over their freaking house. But it also opens the door for more public bailouts. If, in fact, just if, maybe there's an if banks make bad and questionable bets. Do you think that they're going to do that? Well, I wrote they certainly will. That's number 2. Number 3, potential for negative rates. This is the reason, one of the main reasons why Wall Street wanted Trump. He's a proponent of it. We know that. He said it, calling the Fed bonehead. So anyway, there are only 2. People, listen to this again. If you're new here, you really need to be brought up to speed. There are only 2 fundamental truths in economics and finance. 1, to have a strong economy, you need a strong currency. We don't have that anymore. Central banks have been in a race to the bottom here for a very, very long time. Now, and number 2, to have a strong currency, you need a corresponding rate of interest high enough to support the purchasing power of the currency. People, does this even just sound slightly logical to you? Of course it does, because that's exactly the truth. Anyway, here, so let's move forward. Today, these 2 fundamental truths have been turned upside down, and you've seen the mechanism here. 50 record highs this year alone for the S&P 500. Meanwhile, the economy's in free fall, not just here but around the world too. How does that work? Well, when you flip those 2 fundamental truths upside down, which has clearly been done and it's going to happen more so moving forward, what does it do? It turns into an economic wrecking ball. I think I wrote that here. Oh yeah, okay. So today, these 2 fundamental truths have been turned upside down, and in doing so, they become an economic wrecking ball, duh. However, by flipping these 2 fundamental truths, they become massively stock market positives. Do you really need any more proof that what I just said is true? But you see, everyone knows more about economics and finance than Greg Mannarino, right? Who else is going to tell you these things? Oh, it's funny here. Anyway, let's move. I'm having so much fun this morning. What we can all be certain of, people, is for as far as the eye can see and beyond, artificially suppressed rates, and obviously therefore a weaker currency is going to occur with, of course, loss of purchasing power. That was number 3. Number 4. Listen to this. And I know that some of you are going to take exception to this, but let's see how it plays out, okay? I'll make a bet with you. Anyone who wants to make a bet with me, cash, sure. Put your money where your mouth is. We are going to see a lower standard of living for the middle class, not just here in the United States, but around the world. All MAGA will turn out to be is a continued mechanism as to push wealth up the food chain, right up to those 1% and 2%ers. The fat cats, the Wall Street vampires. Now here, the people of the U.S. and the world will continue to be sold an epic lie. And that epic lie is by making the rich richer, we all do better. People, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I've told you this forever. Look around you. Do you need any more proof? Come on, man. Really, how is that working out for you? I go on to say, because this is the very mechanism which has led to the current economic disaster worldwide. Again, more millionaires and billionaires have been minted, brand new ones, during the last 3 presidents than every president before them combined. Does that tell you something? Anyway. It's an incredible situation here. Every single so-called developed nation on earth is deeply entrenched in what is known as trickle-down economics. To flip the system around, to take down, maybe to a certain degree, the Wall Street vampires, the mega banks, we cannot keep pumping easy money into the system. We cannot have the mechanism here of currency devaluation and artificially suppressed rates. This is the Fed's plan. You have been sold the Fed's plan by Trump and by Kamala throughout the entire freaking campaign freaking system here. But you're winning from that, aren't you? You voted for it. Didn't you? You voted for this. All right, let's move forward. So number 5, global debt and U.S. debt will continue to skyrocket. I want you to listen to this part. Today, the U.S. debt to GDP ratio stands at 122%. Moreover, the global debt to GDP ratio stands at 333%. These numbers are staggering and it's irrecoverable. Once the economy reaches a over 100% GDP, the debt ratio here, it's over. It's absolutely over. Now, we all know that. And we all know the mechanism is just to pull more debt into the now. Can't stop. And Wall Street, the vampire system, the fat cats are going to make sure that system continues. So here, we have an easy connection, people. I want you to think about what I'm about to say because, Greg got it all wrong, right? Okay, let's make the connection. As global debt surges higher, so do world stock markets. Oh, did a bell just go off in your head? That's because Greg doesn't understand economics, right? Because I hear that all the time. Trump knows economics and finance better than Greg because he's got more money than Greg. Oh, that must... So then we should have... I don't know. We should probably have Elon Musk sitting behind the Resolute desk. That would be really good, right? Or maybe Bill Gates. That would even be better, right? Because they have more. Bill Gates can buy Trump 1,000 times over. Maybe he should be the president. Make it up, man. You can't do it. It's impossible. Anyway, so the connection is obviously as debt surges higher, so do world stock markets. Massive debt creation, artificially suppressed rates continue to drive cash into risk assets. You think that's going to stop? The mechanism will continue faster right up to the bursting of the debt market hyper bubble. 6, last one. This is where I really want you to zone in on here, okay? Cash seeks yield. I know you've heard that before. Maybe you don't understand what it means. So what this means is by MAGAizing the stock market, banks, and the crypto markets will outperform. While commodities, you can look at this however you want, will underperform. Doesn't mean they're not going to go higher. They will underperform. That's the mechanism. And I think it's an opportunity here. So anyway, however, it also means that commodities across the board will be even more on sale than they are now. By cash-seeking yield and MAGAizing the markets, the game will remain risk on. And I mean risk on. You can expect that soon-to-be President Trump, again, is going to cheer the stock market every single day, Monday through Friday. How did that stock market do? How did that stock market do? And that's going to be used as a deception. You understand? He's going to try to tell you that the economy is strong, and you can tell by the stock market. You and I realize there's no connection anymore. And the mechanism here, again, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Artificially suppressed rates will remain in place, and we possibly could see 0 to negative rates. Massively destructive for the economy. Will vault the stock market higher, but you're going to be sold a lie, just like last time. The reason why you were told to look at the stock market the last time is because it was to take your attention off, again, the surging global debt. $8.6 trillion pulled into existence during Trump's last tenure. You understand here? Debt was supposed to be paid off in 2 years. Tariffs were supposed to do it. Didn't work. That kind of whole narrative dropped off, once he sat behind the Resolute desk. Then it was all about pumping the market. You got it? Same thing now. Count on it. But what does that mean for you? Opportunity. Okay? I understand. You don't like it. You don't like the situation. You may not even like hearing it. But the truth can hit you in the face like a freight train. And I hope it does. Because, again, I want to wake you up. I want you to understand that this banking nightmare, they're the enemy. Greg knows that. The stock market vampire system is going to feed on this like swarms of vampires on all of us. But we're not going to let that attack us. We're not going to let them win here. It's just not going to happen on my watch. If you want to let them feed off of you, good. Do that. Me and my lions, there ain't no way that's happening. So anyway, let's move forward here. So again, by MAGAizing the markets, the game will remain risk on, meaning cash will flow disproportionately into risk assets, which is stocks, and of course cryptocurrencies here. I'm going to tell you again, for those of you who say, Greg is pushing banks. Really, look, it's already been put in play. Not even 48 hours, not even 2 days after Trump's selection, they're starting to already talk about rolling back the freaking regulation here on the banks. Interesting, isn't that? In my opinion, it is. But, maybe it's just a coincidence. Because it was a real, bona fide public election. You know it was. I love you guys. Anyway, moreover, global debt will also hyperballoon. The hyperballooning of world debt will accelerate further and faster. It must. It must. If you don't understand that, I think you're lost too. And this situation would have occurred regardless of who was selected as puppet. I mean president. Understanding that gold and silver are anti-debt units and will be on sale for the foreseeable future. Right up until the bursting of the world hyperdebt bubble, here, with gold and silver, my beautiful friends, being more on sale than ever before relative to virtually every single other asset class you could dream about. Due to the current dynamics in play, what did I finish this off with? We have been given a gift. People, look, man, put this thing aside, all of it, all right? I know some people probably didn't like what they heard here, but they voted for it, okay? You voted for it. I'm teasing. I don't think a single vote counted. I really don't. That's my take on it. You guys and girls are fully entitled to think whatever you want. That doesn't even matter. What matters here was we know the dynamics that are in play. It couldn't possibly be easier to understand here. And to me, this makes my job so much easier. I'm telling you right now. Anybody, any market guy, any investor, any Wall Streeter, any stacker, any crypto enthusiast here. People, this is it, man. We got the guy. We got the guy. You understand? I'm talking about Trump. Let them play their games. We're better at it. There's nobody better than it than you and I. You got it? People, you have no idea, again, how much I love all of you. And I want to thank you for being here. So, what do you think about all this here? You think I'm right on all this? Because I can't wait to read the comments. I love reading the comments. People, look, man. You may be brainwashed into whatever you were sold during the selection process. Snap out of it. What I just told you is the truth across the board. And if the truth hurts you, I don't know what to tell you. This is what we got. You play the cards you got. And we have a winning hand here across the freaking board. You understand? All right. Love you all from the heart. I mean that. Kind of a long video, but I want to hear from you. Please share this stuff. And again, look, man, that paper I wrote for you, it's in your inbox right now. This stuff is gold. Those 6 dynamics that I laid out for you, it's all going to happen. All the wheels are in play right now. Everything. So this makes everything simpler for us here, moving forward here. This is a channel for winners. This is a channel for lions, for those who understand the vampire system, the mechanism of it. It's been even further weaponized against us. But that means for you and I, we haven't been given a better opportunity to flip it. I don't know about you. Actually, I do. I can promise you that that's what this guy's going to be doing more so than ever moving forward. I got your back. I will never let you down. Let me know what you think, people. Do you think I nailed it to the wall here? Really, honestly? I would have to say 90, let me put out a number here. 95% of you are going to say yeah. Of course, there are going to be some that think, no. Trump's going to save us all. He's going to do that by deregulating the banks, of course, the enemy to us all. Good, man. Let him do that. Let the crypto space take off and rip the face. I think the crypto space is going to rip the freaking face. I almost said a different word here. Off this whole thing like you can't even believe. Again, it's going to be at cryptocurrencies. Trump doubled down on this. They're going to be added to the strategic stockpile. Why not gold? Why not add gold to the strategic stockpile? Have you heard about anything about adding that? During the entire campaign, did you hear Kamala say she was going to add gold to the strategic stockpile? Did you hear Trump say he was going to add gold to the strategic stockpile? No, you didn't hear that. You heard about the United States becoming the crypto capital of the world. Because that's what you voted for, right? I love you guys. Love you. Oh, so much. I'll see you in the morning, all right, people? Until we meet again. Take care of yourselves and each other.